So on today's question, we have, how do I maintain a high level of communication with clients as I hire people? So I know a lot of people actually have this question because that's usually the reason why I see people being reluctant to get staff. They're like, oh, I'm going to have to tell my customer that I'm hiring new people. I'm going to have to kind of give them their background check and tell them the whole story of my new employee. I know there's a lot of misconceptions on how they should go about communicating with their clients and telling them they're going to hire someone. My answer is your client is hiring and vetting your company. If your client loves you, they trust you, they are now saying, you know what, Natasha, I get to kick my toes up and I know that your company is going to take care of my family and my dog or cat or whichever. You need to keep that in your mind that your client is hiring your company that they have vetted. So once the client has vetted you and your business, they're now out of it. So now you get to pick up and say, cool, my process, my procedure, my system of hiring is how we do it internally. Your client does not need to know, where you post your ad and where you get your clients from. All that is internal information. So I want to get people off that mindset where they have to kind of, have this one-on-one. And one of my clients would actually take her new hire over to the client's house with her, the owner. So it'd be the owner and the new hire. They would take him to the client and say, hey, this is my new person that I'm going to have. And that is culture. Okay. So remember, if you're doing something, you have to keep that up. So how in the world are you going to take every one of your employees over to each customer every single time? And then we know in the pet care industry, turnover is turnover. It definitely happens. We try to keep our employees on average of a year, but sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So are you realistically going to call your clients every single time, walk into their house, go through this whole situation? It's not realistic. So my process, I'll let you guys know what I do. We have our software for a reason. That GPS tracker is your best friend. So what you can do is say, oh, hey, we took Rover on a walk today. We brought in his new dog walker, Colin, and we made sure we showed Colin the full ropes. Rover loved him. It was an amazing experience. But also knows about the food. They know about wiping the paws. They know about, the lockbox. They know about your garage door access. Add all those details in so the client knows on that daily report that you did a turnover. If you want to add turnovers in your process, that's a great way to do it. Take your new hire out in the field with you, show them the ropes, and make sure you write it down in your report. You can also take a selfie of your new hire in that report. So now it's your normal day-to-day process. Going out, taking that dog out, you took a picture, a selfie of your staff, so now they saw who that person is, and you also ensured that they know all the notes, and the dog loved them, and everything was great. If you do this for 2 days in the field, if you do this for a week, whichever you decide of how long you do a shadow for, say that, oh, today's the second day out with Colin. Everything went smooth. Today I actually sat back a little bit and let Colin do the full service by themselves. And of course, everything went off without a T. Oh, today's the third and final day. I did nothing. And I sat back the entire time and enjoyed the walk and observed their interaction together. And it was amazing. So now you're kind of giving your client that peace of mind that you showed and you brought your client into the process, right? So that behind the scenes, what does this look like? In your post-walk report, you did everything. And that's what you do each time. That's realistic. That's scalable. Now, the owner doesn't even have to do this. Whoever was the last person to walk that dog will do the turnover. Also, you want to talk about this in your meet and greet process. You want to put this on your forms. We're team collaboration. So your client immediately knows that when I'm hiring this company, I saw on their forms, their team collaborated. So the question is, am I going to have the same dog walker every single time? Am I going to have the same pet sitter every single time? We're team collaborated. We would never expect anyone to put all their eggs in one basket. If our walker or pet sitter, got sick or whichever, have you, when you're out of town, we got you covered. We have someone else that's going to jump in and take care of you. That's how awesome we are, right? So you're highlighting some of these positives that's saying, you know what, if this person doesn't work out, they have someone else for me. And this person, they're going to show them. And we have all of the notes in the system and everything's recorded and we're all going to do it the same exact way. That's how you communicate what's happening. And they love it. They're like, if you ever look on my website, they're like, I had like 4 different walkers from the company. They're all amazing. They all do the same thing. Sometimes it's funny because they've had one, like my 7-year clients have had like 7 people and they're like, I've had 7 different walkers. And you would think you would cringe, but they're like, they're all great. Doesn't matter. They're all amazing, whoever they send. So take some of that old, thinking or, that I want to make sure I'm doing it because it really can work out great. Clients are realistic. They know that they're not going to have the same person for life, but they'll be using your business for 10 plus years or which have you. Make sure you're just letting them know just what it looks like. I find that if you tell the customer your process in the beginning, so when my clients go online and they book me and they answer my meet and greet questionnaire, it goes over everything. Do you have a lockbox? Are you okay with is your dog okay with new people coming into the house? Bing, bing, bing. All these are, oh, this is what they do. Oh, this is what they do. Oh, this is how it's going to be. So they know that a new person could come in. If you live in an area where there's snowstorms or which have you, in a nick of a dime, we might switch the walker. And they're like, that's totally fine with me. You've got to let people know what this is going to look like before I sign up. Because if you clearly tell people what they're getting themselves into, they now get to choose if that's going to work for them. And I promise you 10 times out of 10, if you let them know in the beginning, most likely they're going to say, okay. But if you are showing this like perception and it's not true, and then you kind of throw in a monkey wrench, you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was going to happen. They have the right to then feel that way. And that typically brings the pet sitter or dog walker on a defense. But it's really always the burden is on us because we have to kind of show them that through our process. Hope that answers your question. And yeah, get your hiring on because it's pretty easy.